Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the happiest hour on earth. If you're watching this right now, we are more than likely
in the hospital.
Or have already had our baby. It's the week I'm due that this episode is coming out. So it's baby time, one way or another. We're right there. So very exciting, but we're pre-recording this. And because it's baby time, we decided it was a fun time to just talk about pregnancy on your Disney trips.
Yeah.
So I have now been pregnant twice at Disneyland with our first son and once with our soon-to-be second son. We've done one trip during each of the pregnancies. So I definitely am not like a pro at it, but I can say what my tips would be for doing a Disney trip while pregnant, because it's not as easy as it is not pregnant. There's a lot to consider. So for this episode, we're just going to be talking about some tips to make your trip a little bit easier, some of the best rides that you can still go on while pregnant, and just some other fun stuff that you can do that is non-ride related. So it's going to be fun. If you're not pregnant and disinterested, sorry.
Send it to someone you know who is pregnant.
Yeah. Maybe someone you know is pregnant and could use some of these tips. But yeah, we're excited. So let's go ahead and jump in.
So going to Disneyland while pregnant is very, very tough. I would know from the two trips we've done. No,
You'd know,
I would say
based on what
you've experienced. Yeah, I would say as a baby daddy, just be there for your significant other who is pregnant. Get them all the water.
Yeah,
keep them hydrated.
Help out any way you can.
I know that a lot of couples, we're the couples that usually when we go in, we want to hit up everything. You want to do as much as you can. This trip, don't push your baby mama around. Let her go at her own pace. You're not going to be able to do as much as you normally can on this trip. So don't.
She will not be able to.
Yeah,
you might be able to
gauge where things are at. Yeah, if you want to go out, get that okay while she's staying in a nice cool place and you could do a ride, but don't force her to run around everywhere.
Yeah.
But that's like pretty much the only thing I'm going to say. Well, I'll talk about some rides, but you know the tips because you are actually pregnant.
Yeah. No? Yeah. I have things I can say about it. And, again, not an expert, but I've been through it at least a few times now. So I can say what helped me make it a little bit easier. So I would say just starting off, because I think it was this way for me both times. We planned both of those trips when I was in my second trimester. So I think that that's kind of the sweet spot to try and plan a Disney trip if you're pregnant, because the first and the third, the start and the end are just hard for lots of reasons. Second trimester is definitely when you're feeling like the most comfortable you probably will. I would say earlier in the second trimester, probably. You've probably kind of gotten through the nausea and the exhaustion and, some of the really tough parts about the first trimester. Sometimes not. Some people kind of never get past that point. So thankfully, I've not been someone that had to suffer too harshly with those things. So by the second trimester, I've been pretty much ready to roll in Disney. So I would say if you can, try to shoot for a second trimester trip, if you can, because that's a good time. You're not too big yet, if at all. And you're starting to feel a little bit more yourself for the time being. So I would shoot for the second trimester, but to add on to that, just as he was kind of mentioning, don't push yourself beyond your limits, because your body is going through a lot. You're growing a human, you're not, even if you are feeling better than you were in the first trimester, you're still growing a human and you're going to be more tired than usual. It's just how it is. So definitely don't try to pull off more than you can physically. Just listen to your body. You will know when you have just had enough, or when you are just too tired, or, you know, when there's certain breaks that you need to take in the day. You know, I would definitely say, if you need to, go back and take a nap midday at the hotel, if that's something that you're able to do. And if that's something your body's telling you that you should do, go for it. I never felt the need to do it.
Yeah.
I think I just rested enough while in the park to feel like I could keep going. Because for me, it was almost just more of a hassle to like get myself, you know, out of the parks, walk back. And, you know, it's just a lot to kind of go through to take a full rest at the hotel. So I just kind of personally took sitting breaks a lot, and especially in cool places, because generally, I mean, at least for me, when we were there, it was during warmer months. So, you know, getting to take breaks in the cooler environments is definitely a good idea, because it's, you know, it's hard regardless of the temperature, but when it's hot, it's especially hard. So take those breaks in the cool environments. Like some favorites that I would mention are the Animation Academy and California Adventure, the Tiki Room, great moments with Mr. Lincoln, and just any show that you can just like sit and enjoy some entertainment and rest and cool off. Take advantage of that, because that's, you know, whatever, 15-20 minutes at a time that you can just like have downtime, but still like enjoy things.
Yeah, I would say like take advantage too of like sit down restaurants too, you know, because
that too.
I think that usually when we go, we usually grab something, eat real quick, and then head off. But like, yeah, go to some restaurants that take a little bit longer. Take your time. Yeah,
no need to rush. I mean, you know, I guess if you have a short trip, I mean, usually we go for 2 days and it does go by fast. So you want to maximize your time. But when you're pregnant, just take it slow. Just enjoy the slowness that you can enjoy when you're there pregnant.
Yeah.
And on top of that, hydration is so important. Probably the most important tip, because you're walking all day, you're up on your feet. It's probably hot. You're going. So you really need to stay hydrated for yourself and your baby. That is so important.
Yeah. I would say like bring your own big water bottle if you want. And there's a lot of like filtered water stations about Tomorrowland, Galaxy's Edge, in Disneyland. Marvel, I believe, has one. There's a couple different places.
They're everywhere.
And in Disney World, there's a lot as well. Just, you could ask a cast member and they could tell you where the closest one is. But yeah, don't pay for water. If you want, grab a cup of ice at like a quick service, and then just dump that in your water, and you're set to go, and you're feeling great.
Yeah, just make sure you have that water bottle filled at all times. Like when I'm pregnant, I am thirsty constantly. Like if I go, like even just here at home, it happened to me earlier today. We were out and I didn't bring my water bottle. We were out grocery shopping, and by the time we got home, I was parched. We were only gone for like maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was so thirsty. So especially when you're in a place like Disneyland where you're on the move, keep that water bottle filled as much as possible.
Speaking of on the move.
Yes. On that, being on the move constantly, make sure to wear shoes with good support to support your feet. And even on top of that, comfortable clothes as well. And whatever you can do to make yourself comfortable, do that. Don't try to be like, you know, in some outlandish outfit. Just be comfortable.
Yeah, bring that outlandish outfit if you want to take some like maternity photos.
Yeah.
And then switch back into something.
Exactly. Make sure to like have a change of clothes if you're going to do that, to just be comfortable for the majority of the day, because you want to be comfortable. I have learned that over the years. I feel like I look back at old pictures of myself, like way before pregnancy or kids, and like the things I would wear sometimes. I'm like, I would never do that anymore. It's like, I just want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So definitely the shoe support, very important. I particularly get like the most sore, painful feet by the end of a Disney day, like calves, feet, everything down there. So just trying your best to make sure that your shoes are doing their job of supporting your body on those long Disney days.
Yeah. Very important.
So that kind of wraps up the like tip portion of, just things to do for yourself.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to kind of move into the rides, what you can do while pregnant, versus what you can't, and just kind of what some of the best ones, some of our favorites that, you don't have to miss just because you're pregnant. So I think every ride that would be a no for you while pregnant, they will have a sign that says, warning, basically, if you're pregnant. Don't.
Yeah, like expectant mother's warning. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could also, on the sites like Disneyland or Walt Disney World, you could actually filter rides by the expectant mother's advisory. So it'll give you all the rides that you cannot do. It kind of filters it out there. So you could just say, okay, these are the ones that I just cannot ride. I could ride everything else.
Yeah.
But
just so it clears your mind. You don't have to, like, before getting in line, wonder like if it's going to be okay or not, because Disney has said on the site whether or not that's okay for you to do. So I'm glad that they have that as an option. It's pretty nice.
For sure. Do you want me to get some of these? So
yeah,
I know you're talking a lot because you have experienced pregnancy before, but I'll give you a break here. So rides that you can ride are what you would kind of expect, right? Fantasyland rides. It's a Small World, the railroad, all that stuff. The things you want to avoid are like tight lap bars and anything that's really jerky. And so there's a lot more rides that you can ride besides this list that we have here. But those ones are kind of self-explanatory. So we want to talk about like the best rides you could ride while pregnant at Disneyland. And so, and we're also going to be talking about Walt Disney World as well. So if you're on the East Coast, you go to Disney World more. We'll talk about those right after Disneyland. So at Disneyland, you can actually ride Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, if you're in your third trimester, maybe not, but there is no advisory for this ride. You've ridden it all the times that you've been pregnant. It's just it's a little hill. It's a little slide. Yeah, and then that's pretty much it. There's two.
Yeah. I don't think that the drop is intense enough or steep enough or long enough for it to be a problem. Yeah. As far as I know, that one's pretty safe.
And honestly, it's like one of the best ones because it's nice and cool. It's very and you smooth. Just sit there for like 15 minutes. Right. Super good. Another one too, another big one, Haunted Mansion. There's nothing crazy there. You get two of the like most classic, amazing rides that you could still ride. So don't think that you can't go. Next up, Jungle Cruise, another classic. So awesome. One that is really cool, Soarin', you could ride. You rode it this last time when you were pregnant.
Yes, I did.
Now there is, you do have a seatbelt on.
But it's well below your belly. It's not going to be like, right across your...
Third trimester might be a little bit hard, but yeah, you could ride Soarin'. It's nice. It glides.
Yeah,
it's really relaxing. Great. Now another one that is on the list, but we were a little bit nervous about, Runaway Railway, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. That one does not have a expectant mother's advisory, but it is a little bit jerky. So at least the Disneyland one. So I would use your discretion, that's another thing, maybe third trimester, not. But it is a little bit more jerky than we thought.
Yeah.
And that kind of scared us a little bit when you went on it, but he's fine. Baby's fine.
He's fine. So yeah, I think just use your discretion. Depends, sure. If you just feel better not doing it, just don't.
Yeah, do it on your next trip. Yeah, it's fine. Winnie the Pooh, Little Mermaid, Monsters Inc., Midway Mania technically is on here, but you haven't done it when you're pregnant because it does jerk you around a little bit.
I would say it's like probably even with the way that I felt during Runaway Railway. Yeah. Same amount of...
It like whips you around a little bit.
Yeah, it's not jerky necessarily. It does just kind of... whip.
It's fast. Yeah. Whips. Yeah.
Yeah. So another one to maybe just kind of use your discretion.
Yeah. Now at Walt Disney World, some of these are very similar. Pirates, Haunted Mansion, Jungle Cruise, Frozen Ever After you could do because it's kind of almost like Pirates in a way.
Is
Remy's,
there even a drop?
you go
I don't remember.
backwards. Remember, you go backwards and then you do one little drop at the end.
Okay.
So yeah, you could definitely still do that. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. It's a trackless ride system, so probably similar to Mickey's Runaway Railway. We haven't actually ridden it. But Soarin', Spaceship Earth, Runaway, and Navi River Journey. So those were the ones that really stuck out to us. Now there are some, we know some people who kind of can bend the rules a little bit depending on how they feel. I was thinking about some other ones over in Walt Disney World, and I'm like, those might be okay, but really, if you want to play it safe, play it safe.
Yeah.
You don't want to put you or your baby at risk. And so just go on the ones that they say you could go on for sure.
Just use that filter on the app because that's pretty reassuring to know that they've put that together. And I would imagine it's pretty trustworthy.
Yeah.
So
enjoy all the Fantasyland rides too.
Yes, exactly.
Always so
those
fun.
are, those are classics, and obviously they're not going to do anything to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but on top of the rides, Disney has a lot more to offer than just the rides. So definitely, we would say that just doing some things that you don't normally do that are just kind of fun, not activities, but just alternative experiences than just the rides, such as doing the railroad, the Mark Twain Riverboat, Animation Academy, as I mentioned before, and just any of the shows. If that's not something that you normally do, just take advantage of those things because they're something that are not going to mess you or your baby up, and they're fun. It's fun ways to pass the time when you're in the park. You don't have to just sit around when you're not able to go on rides. There's plenty of other things that you can do that are so much fun.
I think it's cool because it almost like forces you to do those things that are often overlooked because you're mainly trying to hit the rides up. So if there's anything that in the back of your head, you've been like, I've always been curious about that, but never actually done. Go check it out.
Time to do it.
Another thing, you didn't do this, but I was thinking, going over to Tom Sawyer's, Pirate Slayer over there. And I mean, it's walking and stuff, but just getting to see things that you normally don't. I think it's a cool way to experience this.
I agree. So yeah, I mean, definitely just enjoying being in the park, just soaking it all up, all of the atmosphere, which, you can do regardless, but when you're pregnant, especially, you're a little bit more limited on the things that you can do, and wanting to take breaks more often, you really should just kind of soak in the sights and sounds and, just take photos and, make those memories.
It was maternity photos. Yeah. Magical maternity.
Yes. The best maternity photos. But obviously have to end on eating and drinking everything that you can. There are just endless possibilities for snacking and drinking. And obviously, Disneyland only recently had alcohol as an option. So there are plenty of other options that are non-alcoholic and lots of
a lot of mocktails.
things.
Yeah.
Yes. Lots of mocktails, lots of delicious, refreshing beverages that you don't have to worry about there being alcohol in. So get as many of those as you can and just enjoy it. It's like
go on the foodie adventure.
Yes, you might as well.
You deserve it. And I feel like that's perfect for a pregnant person because I know Walt Disney World has that pickle milkshake right now. That is a pregnant lady's dream. Come on.
Yeah.
You could get some crazy, I feel like that's some crazy cravings that they just happen to already make.
Yeah,
and you're like, okay.
Oh, pregnant
I
ladies
get a
love this.
pickle milkshake or a what's it, mac and cheese bread cone. Come on,
All
indulge.
the
You're
carbs.
walking off you're taking those steps.
That's true. I think
you're
the
walking off the
first
carbs.
time that I tried that bread cone was when I was pregnant with our first son.
Oh,
I was
nice.
just like, I'm taking advantage Like, I'm pregnant. I'm going to enjoy all the food options that I can. So that's a favorite. But yeah,
Maybe
so many
maybe you plan your trip during like food and wine festival. Not the wine, food and something.
Other drinks.
Food and other drink festival. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, and then you get it. Then you like literally have an activity of just like trying little small bites here and there. And you get to do your own little adventure there. But yeah,
totally. And
it's
there's just
pregnant lady paradise.
Absolutely. There's endless opportunities for food and drink. So take advantage of it when you're in the park.
Yeah.
And that kind of wraps it up. I mean,
is there any more tips? I mean, honestly, if you are pregnant and you listen to our show, hit us up. Hit us up and just, if you have a specific question, we'll definitely do our best to answer those. So, or write it down in the comments below.
Yes. If you have something that really helped you while pregnant or like a tip that we missed, send it in. We'll post it on our story. So that, when this episode comes out, if we missed anything, our listeners will still be able to see some other notes from you guys.
Yeah. And actually on that topic, in a few months that you're listening to this, if you're pregnant, we have a tips for taking a baby/toddler to the Disney park. So you could definitely check out that episode as well. It was a while back. It was after our first trip with our son. I believe it was our first trip with our son.
Over a year.
Yeah. But definitely listen to that one because there's a ton of tips. Everything from napping tips, quiet areas you should go to, bathroom tips, which really helped us out. And, what rides that they could go on and all this stuff. But that, I don't know. I think that will be very beneficial for you because that really changes your Disney trip up, but it's still so magical. So listen to the episode and see how you could best enjoy your trip with a baby or a toddler.
Yeah, totally. And it's going to be very different for us by the next time that we go because we will have a toddler plus a baby. So maybe we'll have another episode to film where we talk about taking multiples to Disneyland.
I'm very tired just even thinking about that.
Yeah, it sounds exhausting. I think we will definitely have help.
Yes, we'll definitely need some help. Yeah.
We'll be needing some extra hands to help us out.
Definitely.
But yeah, it's, I would say that, being in Disneyland while pregnant is such a special thing. Don't like skip out on a trip if you are pregnant. Like take advantage of going. If you're someone that loves Disney, don't sit it out. Enjoy it, as much as you can to the full extent, especially as, it's all going to change for you by the time you have this little one. Don't miss out on taking a trip because you're creating those memories and just soaking up. I feel like every time I go and I know that a big change is coming soon, I soak it in all the more when I'm on that trip. Like I just remember being like, wow, this is the last time we're going to be here. Just the two of us.
And the three of us when we had our son.
Yes.
And then the fourth.
Exactly. It was, it changes. So soak it in because it's always special and you're always making those memories each time you plan a trip there. So magical. That's pretty much it. I think that's all I would have to say. But yeah, let us know if we missed anything. If there's any tips that were really, really beneficial for you, send it in. We'll post it so that people can get even more tips than what we had to offer.
For sure. We're all in this together.
Yes.
As a little high school musical reference. Yeah. We're all trying to still experience the Disney magic, even though there's so many life changes, right? Like it's a lot. So all the tips are so welcome. Spread it out in the community so people could hear those as well.
And we could probably use those tips if there were things that we didn't know about that would have helped. We'll probably benefit from them as well if you have things to say. So pretty nuts that we're entering into 2 kid zones soon.
Yeah. Probably by the time this episode comes out. Maybe. Yeah.
It's so wild to think that we're that close at this point, but we're ready for it. So very soon you guys will have an introduction to our little man, our newest little man. We're so excited
We are. We're so
for the
pumped.
world to meet him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that pretty much wraps up this episode, guys. Thank you for listening, and we will see you again next week.
See you then. Bye.
Bye, guys.